In the electrifying world of boxing, where legends rise and fall, there exists a record that still stands unbeaten. A tale of power, resilience, and unmatched dedication.
His mean, hard punches are definitely weakening the challenger. Down he goes!
49 fights, 43 knockouts, and 0 defeats. But beyond the numbers, there's a story of a man from Brockton, Massachusetts, who didn't just fight opponents. He battled odds, fate, and even his own physical limits. While others ran 5 miles, he ran 15, and not on soft tracks, but in heavy combat boots. His training wasn't just about skill. It was about building unparalleled endurance. But who was this man behind the gloves? Why did every punch feel like it was thrown by a force of nature? Welcome to Greatest Boxing, and today we're going to talk about the Brockton blockbuster. Rocky Marciano, the hardest hitter in boxing history, the only heavyweight champion in history to retire undefeated, defending the title 6 times with 49 victories and no defeats. So, pay attention as we are getting into the life of Rocky Marciano, and by the end, you'll understand why he wasn't just a boxer, he was a phenomenon. Are you ready to rumble? So as you well know how hard it is running with heavy combat boots, you also know how easy it is pushing the subscribe button. Before the Brockton blockbuster, Rocky was just Rocco Francis Marciano, an immigrant Italian family kid born in Brockton with dreams bigger than his hometown. He was different from the other kids. Every time that kid stepped into the gym, you could feel the energy shift. It was like watching a storm brew. He had fire in his eyes from day one. It wasn't just his natural talent that set Rocky apart. It was his insatiable hunger to be better, to push harder. His dedication was obsessive. Rocky's relentlessness wasn't limited to the ring. Every skipped rope, every mile run, every punch thrown during training had one aim: to ensure he outlasted every opponent, and boy did he.
And then he crumples forward to the canvas. Matthews is down.
5, 6, 7.
His fights weren't just battles, they were wars of attrition, and no one could outlast Marciano. For those who wondered why he pushed himself so hard, why he refused to settle, the answer was simple. Rocky Marciano wasn't training to fight, he was training to dominate. For all the power and prowess Rocky displayed, he wasn't invincible. The blows he received took a toll, each marking a testament to the wars he had fought. In the midst of battle, where ordinary fighters saw limits, Rocky saw challenges he was determined to conquer. Like the time his nose was split in half, dangling, threatening to end his fight prematurely. Most would have faltered, but Rocky saw it as an ultimatum. With his nose split wide open, with the very real risk of the fight getting called off, Marciano did what he did best. He dug deep, channeling that relentless spirit, and he turns it around. The determination, the sheer will of this man.
Down he goes!
But it wasn't just in the ring. As everyone knows, the injuries can stop anybody, but for him were just speed bumps. Every injury, every setback became a chapter in the legend of Rocky Marciano. A legend not just of punches and knockouts, but of indomitable spirit and the heart of a champion. In the annals of boxing, many have showcased skill, but few have displayed the sheer perseverance that Rocky did, time and time again. We've seen the fights, the battles in the ring, but ever wonder what fueled the fire of the beast that was Rocky Marciano? It wasn't just natural talent, it was grit. It was a relentless work ethic that was nothing short of obsessive. While other fighters might have been lounging or living the high life, our boy Rocky was out there in the wilderness chopping wood. No, seriously, the man swapped traditional weightlifting for lumberjacking. Talk about a unique workout. And it wasn't just physical. The man had a mental discipline that was, well, rock solid. He trained his mind just as hard, if not harder, than his body. He had this belief: to be a champ, you gotta believe in yourself when no one else will, and believe he did. His dedication went beyond the norm. Long after his sparring partners were exhausted, Rocky would still be in the ring, pushing himself, refining his technique, always seeking that edge. Training with Rocky wasn't for the faint-hearted. When we thought we were done for the day, Rocky was just getting started. He trained like he was the challenger, not the champ. In a sport where talent often meets ego, Marciano's humility stood out. He knew the value of hard work, and he wasn't about to be outdone by anyone. Behind every jaw-dropping knockout, behind every victory, was a foundation built on relentless training and an unwavering dedication to the sport he loved. Every legend has battles that define them. For Rocky Marciano, it wasn't just about the win, but how he won. Madison Square Garden, 1952, a place where history was about to be written. Meet Jersey Joe Walcott, the reigning heavyweight champion, an experienced fighter who was seen by many as a bridge too far for our young Rocky. The fight began, and let's be honest, it wasn't looking good for Rocky.
Walcott goes right after Marciano, and Marciano is staggered, trying to keep his feet. Walcott looking to end this fight right here in round one.
He was outboxed, outmaneuvered, but as we know, Rocky was no stranger to challenges. And then, out of nowhere, the Suzy Q. A punch so lethal, it's like getting hit by a speeding truck. Walcott was down, and the underdog was suddenly the top dog. The atmosphere was electric, the stakes high. The result? A knockout for the ages. Fast forward to 1955, Yankee Stadium, an arena filled with anticipation. Rocky was about to face the fierce Archie Moore. Moore wasn't just any contender. With a record littered with knockouts, he posed a significant threat. The fight was a roller coaster, punches traded, wills tested. But Rocky's resilience shone once again, and in the end, Rocky stood tall. These weren't just fights, they were epics, tales of a man who refused to back down, no matter what the odds. Now, while these victories solidified Rocky's reputation in the ring, there was another side to him, a mystery that many don't know about. Stay with me and you'll find out. Rocky's path to greatness was more than just a couple of iconic bouts. Each fight was a story, a testament to his indomitable spirit. Enter 1952, the Cow Palace in San Francisco, a place of showdowns. That night, it was Rocky versus the Black Murderers Row legend, Roland LaStarza. LaStarza, a formidable foe, had given Rocky one of the toughest fights of his career in their previous encounter. This was the rematch, the decider. It was a brutal ballet of punches, toe-to-toe, round after round, and in the 11th, Rocky's relentless pressure broke through, another testament to Marciano's grit.
Marciano misses a left hook, then connects with a smashing right, another right, a left, and another right sends the stars sailing back through the rope, onto the ring apron.
1953, Chicago Stadium, the air heavy with tension. It was Rocky versus Ezzard Charles, the Cincinnati Cobra. Charles, a former heavyweight champ, was a technician, a strategist, a chess player in a boxer's body. This wasn't just a fight, it was war. Charles sliced Rocky's nose, a wound so deep many thought the fight would end. But he had other plans. Rocky powered through, turning pain into passion, sealing another epic victory. But these legendary battles were more than just about wins. They were a showcase of Rocky's character, his mettle. And there's still one more surprise bout you'd love to know about, but more on that in a moment. 49-0. It's not just a number, it's a legacy. An anthem of undefeated greatness in the boxing world. In an era brimming with boxing behemoths, only one remained unbeaten: Rocky Marciano. Now, there have been greats before Rocky and after, some with dazzling footwork, others with a reach that seemed to extend for miles. So what was Rocky's secret sauce? First, it was his style, unpredictable, unyielding, with a ferocity that caught even the most seasoned fighters off guard. They say you can learn the technique, but you can't learn the heart, and boy did Rocky have a heart. Every punch he took, he returned with interest. It wasn't just about not losing a match. It was about not giving an inch, not a moment, not a round. Then there's that awe-inducing stamina. Many say he could have gone 30 rounds if boxing allowed it. His training wasn't just about punching, it was about outlasting, outwilling. In the world of boxing, talent will get you to the top, but it's tenacity that keeps you there, and our Rocky was the epitome of tenacity. They say, quit while you're ahead, but how many truly muster the courage to do so, especially when the world's chanting your name? Rocky Marciano, at the pinnacle of his game, with an unbeaten record and the world at his boxing gloves' fingertips, did the unthinkable. He hung up his gloves. In 1956, at the tender age of 32, when many boxers were still revving up, Rocky stepped away from the spotlight. No comeback stories, no one last fight. It was a finale on his own terms. While most fighters would dream of the glory and paycheck of one last bout, Rocky's decision wasn't about money or fame. It was about legacy. A legacy left untarnished, untouched, 49 fights, 49 victories. His imprint on the boxing world is indelible. Today, trainers across the globe dissect Rocky's techniques, hoping to distill even a fraction of his essence into their protégés. And decades later, also the fans, they still whisper his name with reverence. For them, Rocky wasn't just a boxer, he was a symbol of hope. A reminder that with determination and obsession, you can defy the odds and remain unbeaten. Everyone believes that every legend is immortal. But fate often has its own plans. Just a day shy of his 46th birthday in 1969, the world was met with a devastating blow. Rocky Marciano, on his way to a surprise birthday party, tragically lost his life in a plane crash. A birthday celebration that never was.
Yesterday, he called to wish me happy birthday. Today is his birthday.
For a legend who felt so invincible inside the ring. The outpouring of grief was palpable. Boxing arenas, streets, homes, everywhere. The shockwaves were felt.
I lost a great friend and certainly a great man to boxing. He was a great champion.
Oh, he was a wonderful father and he was a wonderful husband.
It felt as though the world had lost more than just a boxer. It had lost an icon. But legends, they never truly fade away. They live on, in stories, in tributes, in hearts. Today, Rocky's legacy continues to shine brightly. Boxers across generations look to his fights, his techniques, his spirit, hoping to capture even a hint of his magic. It's been a privilege walking you through the life and times of this boxing titan. His story, his lessons, his spirit, they serve as a testament to what sheer determination can achieve. So as today's Rocky story packed a punch for you, step into our ring by hitting that subscribe button and give that like button a solid knockout. Thank you for being with us for this journey. Remember, legends live on, so in the next video, you'll see another legend. Don't miss it.